Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. It's Monday, which means it's time to show off our weekly painting progress. And I'm going to get things started here with this dude. So I will admit, I have not had much time this past week. Had a bunch of stuff for school, for the kids, for myself, for my wife. We had Mother's Day, obviously, and hopefully all of you mothers out there enjoyed yourselves and had a nice time. We had to host it at my place, which meant that we had to get everything ready, and my wife, being the amazing chef that she is, could not abide by just having a simple light snack and ended up fully cooking and baking a gigantic meal. So between prepping and cleaning up from that, I really didn't get much painted. I did manage to get this Arnis Studio guy, flying dragon lizard man thing done. And I'll be honest with you, he is a totally failed print, but I'm one of those people that I just absolutely refuse to let some kind of project go if it's like 90% okay. So once again, this time my sealer that decided to get goofy on me, and you can see the little white spots everywhere, was actually a Tamiya one. I was kind of surprised by that, so that wasn't cool, and it got all over the place. Fun, fun, fun. I mean, admittedly, it wasn't like the most super fantastic paint job anyways. I rushed it, and mostly it's because it was, as I said, a bit of a failed print. Check out his sword there. It's just a mess. Dang, that white stuff got everywhere. But he's done, and he actually is stable on his base, so that's a plus. We also went ahead and painted up a Rocket Pig Void Shade. I believe that's what this was called. Unfortunately, the highlights really disappeared. It's a bit of a shame, but it's not the end of the world. I'm still not sure what a Void Shade's supposed to be a stand-in for. And again, you can see the sealer striking at the most inopportune times. I think I did this guy in resin. Pretty sure I did it in resin. I don't think I changed the height or anything either. So, in case you're curious for weird demon things with, blade arms. A random Gaul with no shoes, and a striped shirt and white spots, and a sling, and Lego hands, and an awful, awful haircut. He looks totally outclassed next to everything around him. Speaking of outclassed, a random Dweghom Ballista warrior. And I just slopped my way through him. Poor Gaul barely goes up to not even his mouth. A shame. Let's see what else I ruined this week. Okay. Here's one that I've had for some time, and I finally just decided to try to finish it up. An old Goritzi. I don't even know what these are called now. It's been that long. I know it's a Goritzi Scorza something something. Goritzi being the faction, Scorza being the fact that it is a werewolf. He's big. He's on a 50mm base. So be aware of that. I don't think he's a skirmisher. And I know he's not a Gotha knight. The Gotha were like the... Maybe it was. I don't know. I know I've got the big, tall one with the giant halberd thingy, but I don't know. All right, let's get back to some print stuff. So here's another failed print, unfortunately. This is from Comet Lord. This is one of their redone Blood Hunters. Crimson Hunters, not Blood Hunters. Crimson Hunters. And of course, what a horrible spot to get that. I'm going to have to touch that up. So yeah, I totally broke the sword trying to get it off of the print bed. And then I broke it again trying to get it... Oh, dang, what in the world happened? Ugh. Okay, we'll have to fix that up. This is a mess. Yikes. Well, up until the point where the sealer decided to spit out nonsense, I thought it looked pretty decent, but dang, that's just a shame. But that is so bloodborne, it bleeds. Yeah. All right. Something different. I don't think I've shown this off. God Dang it, it's just everywhere. How did I get there? This is one of the Longbowmen for the 100 Kingdoms from Conquest. And they are really heavily armed and way more interesting, I think, than the earlier guys. This is using some of the command parts. That is a command head and a command arm with the knife. He's got like 4 or 5 knives all hanging around on him in these like shotgun casing things on his shoulder. They're interesting models. And the Warhammer. They've got all these Warhammers attached to their quivers. And then hopefully, well, she didn't end up too bad. I know what's a Kingdom Death figure. I'm trying to think what she's called. Death High Holy Mage. Yeah, that's it. The Holy Mage. Got on her shoe. Bleh. Galoshes, maybe. I try to get that white nice and bright and pure and clean. Obviously, that's what she's supposed to be. The gold on her jacket didn't come out as nice as I had hoped. I think it's back to testers for me for the sealer. I don't know what happened with this Tamiya stuff. Usually it's the testers that... Maybe it's where I'm storing it? I don't know. It's just sitting in the garage on a shelf? I don't know. So that's my menagerie. And then Sparkle Trout, Mr. Percival, has really gone whole hog on the bestiarium stuff that I showed off earlier. I think last week, was it? So he got a bunch of his cultists done. And I think the results are quite disgusting for all the right reasons and quite appealing in that regard. So we've got all of our praying ones here. He did mention he had to cut and trim a few of their cloaks. Their robes were just too long and they were going off the base. Particularly appetizing. Offerings there. So we can all group around. He needs some kind of big disgusting mutant, I think, to have them all worshipping. So hopefully I will get him something gross and disturbing and disgusting. But of his cultists that he painted, I think this one is my favorite. It was actually a failure. He didn't have his right hand and blade print, but I think he looks all the more better for it, to be honest. I think the only thing missing would be maybe like some kind of little, pokey shiv nailed into his stump, maybe. But I think he works. Here, they could be worshiping this guy. So this is labeled a Slamer, but I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a Slammer. And again, this is from Bestiarium Miniatures, and it just looks appropriately gruesome and worn out. It's pretty big, too. Not as big as some of the junk I painted this week, but still big nonetheless. Hopefully, we're going to be able to get some of this stuff on the tabletop in the summer. Just a couple weeks left of school, thankfully for me, and I am just ever so looking forward to it. It has been a hell of a year. Plus, I've been having nasty migraines all week. That didn't help either. But at least I got some stuff finished, so hopefully we will see even more in the future. Probably not in the immediate next couple of weeks as school winds down and I have to work on grades and getting everything ready for kids moving on. But besides that, hopefully, fingers crossed, I can actually start getting to some of the printed stuff that I've got piling up. It's getting really bad around me on the table here. I really need to take care of this stuff, and I've just been putting it off. So hopefully you guys aren't as bad as me. Hopefully everybody's getting nice and organized and everything all set for when we're actually able to game again in person. I know I'm looking forward to rolling terribly and doing miserably, but at least as long as I do something cool, I'm going home happy. As always, in case you're curious, we will put the links down below for where all these models come from. We also have our link for our own Patreon page, where hopefully, as I'm finishing up my suggested models for April, we will be putting up some ideas of what needs paint, and hopefully you guys can help decide that. So do take a look. Your help and support is always appreciated and keeps the obscurities flowing. So with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.